programming languages or environments, Eternity is one alternative, more modern, more smart, thought through, more academically proven approach to smart contracts. You can try it out with the AE Studio. It's a web editor where you can essentially create quickly a little token sale program, and you can really see how the code is more clean and generally more safe to use, because lots of mistakes or bugs which Solidity really leads you in happen by design with Sophia. And so we extract on a higher level, and I think generally as computer scientists we should be trying to get on higher levels of abstractions, because then new things become possible, because before that we were not able to see them because we were stuck with the kind of like bits and bytes, like the small scale text. And
okay, so it's absolutely beautiful that the Eternity could, let's say, create some, very beautiful alternative or the new steps for the EVM-centric blockchain world. So as we understand, the Eternity, it's just very academic, very deep approach towards evolution of a blockchains. And let's discuss the DEX. Let's discuss the DEX of the DEX you're developing on Eternity, or some of the teams connecting with Eternity, just to understand all the possibilities of new type of DeFi projects to be on Eternity blockchain. So could you explain more about that paramount of your blockchain for our audience, just to understand what's actually possible?
So generally Eternity is Turing complete like Ethereum, so the possible experience you can have, or meaning the can implement can have the same features, but the experience you're going to have on the, let's say, the tech level, like when you implement it, is going to be much nicer with Eternity if you essentially do functional programming style. And we have, for example, built in oracles into the smart contract language, so that's super simple to set up an oracle to ask questions, receive results. These results are typed. So this is another way or another advantage, types results. And then there's state channels. So state channels, smart contracts, there can also use the chain data to solve, for example, bets, or also you could do cross-chain atomic swaps, so that you can build the exchange, for example. The DEX, which is launching on superhero.com in, I think, a few days, will make on-chain token transactions on Eternity blockchain super simple. It's similar to how Uniswap 2 is working. We are also kind of like when we have a DevTools team, and their new state channel demo application is being developed to showcase the state channels. It's kind of like a little game which you can play on testnets with tokens, and from here we want to make it more easy. That's essentially other use cases can be developed from. Like it's kind of like a little boilerplate tool for developers, but also serves as a consumer demo application. So you can click and open state channels, do transactions, and you can win some tokens. It's of course in testnet. We are not doing a real casino here, but other people could then launch casinos. So it's really, we're trying to make the experience super simple for other people to come up with killer ideas, because so far we have not really seen Eternity like being full loaded, in the sense that there's lots of room for transactions still, because we really made it so super scalable. And yeah, we are looking for yeah, kind of like having soon a viral killer application inside the Eternity ecosystem, which can really then showcase all the potential. And
so basically, you are leading right now all of that cross-chain atomic swap, the decentralized exchange development. So you are the person who is standing on top of all of that, and you're personally, let's say, as a chief chief strategy and system architect, creating that unique solution on Aeternity blockchain.
I wish I could say this, but no, I'm not really too much involved in the technical details. I was involved in the white paper, like generally, like say the structure of the white paper is hugely like my work as well, but it's even this was not just my work, it's really teamwork. There are smart people involved, like there are people who know much better programming than I do, or have written books about virtual machines and co-created languages which are in production use today. So for example, even the co-creator of Erlang himself, Robert Wording, we were working with the former CTO of Klarna, which is a huge financial application in Europe, to also involved in the creation of the Scala programming language. So he also really knows what he's doing. And then there was also there were researchers from the University of Gothenburg in Sweden who co-created or solely created programming languages such as Agda, which is a functional language, and also Haskell with John Hughes, who was involved with Q, with one of the companies. So we were co-creating this blockchain. So yeah,
you have a very high level approach towards creating that type of technologies. Mostly, or most of let's say the blockchain sitting on just on another level. It's totally understandable having that level of let's say the guys behind SCADA and Scala.
yeah,
yeah, that's what just out of my mind. Just okay. So could we discuss a little bit the competitive, let's say, landscape of decentralized atomic swap, let's say, exchanges? Could I ask you questions about, let's say, other projects of that type, just to understand unique value proposition or something like that? Is it okay, or we could move to another topic? Because
overview over the landscape, but we are involved in Portal DeFi, which is cross-chain atomic swap exchange in layer 2 for Bitcoin and Ether. Hasn't launched yet, but it's a bigger, more famous project from the Silicon Valley, and we are really anticipating its launch, and Eternity will be then also integrated after the launch. And this will be really cool because we really need decentralized exchanges. Like, we can't have more centralized exchanges. Is such a big problem for the general ecosystem. How much risk is involved with centralized entities? It's really, we are in crypto for decentralization, for giving power to the people, and then there are some, let's say, entities and just grabbing huge parts of the total market cap, or let's say tokens, and there's really no need for this. Like, crypto is becoming more and more easy to be accepted, and like the masses, they will not know anything about state channels. They will just use will just work magically. Yeah, I mean, principally the concept of cross-chain atomic swap is quite simple. It's more about creating a slick UX. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the it's the biggest issue of decentralization. On some level, the UX of decentralized applications. On other level, in just creating that cross-chain atomic swaps, because we are, as a decentralized society, so heavily depends on the project like Binance and etc. And it's not decentralization. When somebody could control, let's say, our world with just one button of decision of some communist party or whatever, doesn't matter. It's very important for our, let's say, decentralized society to survive, is to have a lot of less popular and efficient cross-chain atomic swap decentralized exchanges. That's the biggest problem, and it's very important that the guys, like you mentioned, sitting and standing behind all of that. Okay, let's talk about, let's say, in general, about any product like us who could launch on that DEX. What unique features we will have, what unique attention we will have, what's the reason to be on that DEX, and how what's its why let's say followers, our community will benefit from that, being us on that unique DEX.
Yeah, Eternity is really made for DeFi. So if you want to launch a token, I guess not just the launch is important, but also what you do after the launch with the token. And if you want to develop stable but still efficient and cheap smart contracts, and yeah, have lots of transactions, have lots of users, then you're gonna reach limits with essentially the on-chain Ethereum approach, or gonna have problems with Solidity if you want to more advanced smart contracts. If you just want to essentially copy an existing product, like doing a copycat, like for example, even full blockchains, most of them are just copycats, like such as Binance Smart Chain or Polygon is mostly the Ethereum code base. There's little innovation, and you're gonna run into similar, running into Ethereum or the kind of like the Ethereum. And yeah, if you want to have a really more slick experience developing those smart contracts using also more advanced concepts like on-chain native oracles or build state channels, you're gonna have way more fun, and it's going to be in the long run much better experience. And I mean, there's really a reason also why Erlang, the language which Eternity is written in, is in such big use today, but still not many people know about it, although you and me and everybody else on this planet is using Erlang in the background every day. Like every day you do a phone call, there's Erlang in the background. Every time you do a WhatsApp message, there's Erlang in the background. And
yeah, so no, a lot of people know about the Erlang. So they know the strongest, let's say, and the most competitive ways to implement the Erlang. But let's say just from the salaries point of view, how we could compare the solidity, average solidity, let's say senior salary in US and Erlang senior developer salary. From my perspective, from my understanding, it's Erlang. The Erlang guy will cost more from my personal point of view as a, let's say, head of project. Do you have any other, let's say, could you compare, or maybe that question, if you know something about that? Because
the developer will cost more or less the same. Like if you're a really good, talented developer, it doesn't really matter which language you are using, in the sense I mean, of course, you will have your preferences, meaning you will know what a better language is and you will want to use it. But if you're a really good developer, you will learn any other language in a quick amount of time. And yeah, to add to the competitive advantages, it's not just the technology, but if you launch your token now on Eternity blockchain, you will have kind of like all the Eternity ecosystem looking at you, because it's really early in the days still. Imagine like you could do like the first DAO, and everybody is looking.
The first DAO, yes, yeah. The first DAO on Aeternity blockchain. Got it. Okay. Could you help us with understanding of all the infrastructure? I mean, wallets. What kind of wallets will be working with Eternity? For example, we know the Trust wallet, we know, let's say, Kepler wallet. Could you, let's say, explain what's the most important components of your ecosystem? I mean, in terms of, let's say, like wallets.
Yeah, we are working on more wallet integrations, but there are like, for example, AirGap, which is offline or cold storage solution. It's a super safe solution. They don't support the tokens on Eternity wallets, which also supports tokens. Then there's a new one coming up. It's a hardware wallet, a new hardware wallet, like a credit card wallet called the Amber wallet. The user experience is almost the same, like using a credit card. So you type in a PIN and the transaction gets approved. It's really nice for spendings, or if you keep it like in an isolated environment, you can also use it for storage. It's working with the Amber wallet, and they will also very soon. This is the plan. And then there's the Trust wallet. You mentioned this. It's a Binance wallet, and you can also use Ledger with, for example, the Base app, which originally we thought is going to become kind of like replaced by the Superhero wallet. But yeah, the community still wants it. So the foundation took it up and is developing it or maintaining it. So the Base wallet is one other wallet. It's kind of like also a browser. So I saw that my Ether wallet just added this feature. We had it already with the Base wallet. We had it already in 2018, decentralized browser built into wallets where you can type in a URL and then yeah, actually signs you in.
Thinking about all of that, I just realized the outstanding work you've done through all of that years, because it's like it's even 50 millions is not enough to, let's say, to build that type of ecosystem around. It just let's say the spirit, the hard work, and a huge team of professionals working like 24/7. Because I do realize it's very complicated to create that ecosystem, and as I already understand, you have your own ecosystem, and that's the true beauty. The true beauty of the work you've done. It's a great honor to be with you today. The question is, maybe it's simple, but I'm, you know, some of our audience and come from new generation, and nobody knows about it. Maybe you answered that question numerous times, but still, how decentralized is Eternity? Could you explain more of, let's say, how many validators you have, how decentralized that validators actually are? Could you tell us more about the decentralization of Eternity blockchain, just to be confident, in terms of how it's controllable or uncontrollable from your side?
Yeah, decentralization has different kind of like perspectives. So the network is decentralized, so the peer-to-peer, the nodes are peer-to-peer. You can run your own nodes and connect to the network and be like a full member of the network. We really recommend this. This is like the kind of like the most safe way to interact with the Eternity blockchain if you run your own full node. But not everyone can or wants to do this. So you need to access some APIs, which are obviously not so decentralized. And also, like one thing, what we are now working on is the hyperchains thing, to the hyperchains consensus mechanism to improve the decentralization, because right now there are less than a handful of mining pools. I think like 3 or 4. So this is obviously a problem, but it's not as big of a problem as like having just like 3 or 4 staking, because mining pools can like freely join, or miners can exit any moment and rejoin another pool if there are issues. And those mining pools, they seem to be not doing. So the people kind of like voted for them to, like, with their mining power, to produce the blocks for them and split the block reward. It's similar how it's with Bitcoin and Ethereum, just that for, let's say, the Eternity mining power is smaller than the Ethereum mining power or the Bitcoin mining power. But if Ethereum and Bitcoin had the same market cap as Eternity, then it would be really the same kind of like
just putting in perspective. So putting in perspective, you have more mining power per, let's say, per dollar of market capitalization. I do realize that. You're way more responsible looking from that perspective. Okay. And how any like general user could help you to develop your blockchain? Because let's say, could I become the validator? How much does it cost? What will it's not also about, let's say, about the, let's say, financial side of the project, just from the decentralization point of view. What should I do, and how could I help? Let's say, maybe becoming the validator on Eternity blockchain.
Yeah, if you want, you can run a full node on a server, ideally not Amazon or any of those big players. So really pick kind of like a niche hoster and rent a server and install the Eternity full node. And if you want, then ideally you would essentially become a public member of the Eternity community to essentially become maybe even a seed node in the future. So more seed nodes, but like from the community essentially also would be really great help to get more decentralized. But seed nodes maybe also, I mean, it's not necessary. That's you could also like do share files from friends with IPs, but we're getting too much into technical details here. So yeah, it's not expensive to run Eternity full node. You will need probably 8 GB RAM, and you should have hard disk to store the blockchain if you want to all the full history, which of course is also beneficial, but you don't necessarily need to. You can also run a node and essentially throw away the blockchain after verification through the yeah.
Could you help? Do you have, let's say, any, let's say, Discord group or subgroup to help anybody to just run the Eternity node and, let's say,
Yeah.
some one okay.
forum.com. So technical questions are really appreciated there. Should be answered quickly. And also there's a Discord channel. I think the easiest way is to go to Aeternity.com and then find all these different channels there. But I definitely recommend the forum and Discord. Also there's a Telegram channel, but Telegram is really noisy and spammy. So yeah.
Got it. We will add all the links down below. It's truly interesting because I do realize. What do you think? By the way, we currently evaluate the Akash network. Akash network is, let's say, some sort of marketplace for that decentralized storage, and a lot of buzz around that Akash. I mean, not from the blockchain point of view, but from that marketplace of decentralized storage, and just to creating that the necessary, because we need that the base layer, hosting layer, computation layer for all of our decentralized world. What do you think about the project like Akash and Akash in general, just to host maybe your nodes?
I have done really a review of Akash, so I can't really give a opinion here, which like stand behind right now.
Got it. Because I like their prices. It's cheaper than DigitalOcean right now. They provide a lot of interesting options just to host around the world, and it's actually decentralized marketplace of computation power. So I will evaluate the possibility with my technical team to run your node. From my perspective, as I understand, the budget for that will be like less than $100 if I'm running that on a cache network. So creating the full node with 8 gigabytes will cost me like $100 per year. So it's just funny money. It's nothing. But it's very important for you as a blockchain with such a unique solutions and the brilliant minds creating all of that ecosystem. But we do realize that everybody could help in your journey, and it's will be honor to be part of that project like in that manner, because it's simple stuff, but it's important stuff, as I understand from your reaction. And I think that everybody could help the decentralized world to survive and flourish and grow, not just to investing, but let's say making the real steps. And hosting the full node, it's a real step towards building the decentralized future and protecting the decentralized future. Because I'm honestly, it's just a mess in our community. I mean, not my community, but all of crypto community. Sometimes people telling us so many things about decentralization, and by the end of the day, everything is hosted on Amazon. So fuck, what's the decentralization we are talking about? So it's like it's a beautiful story, but but by the end of the day, we are still sitting on Amazon. So it's.
Yeah, I really recommend everybody to experience the full decentralization at least once in their life. It feels really empowering and kind of like enlightening. And then on day-to-day use, yes, it's often like way more simple or like possible to use full decentralization, but you make compromises in daily life, but you can still fall back to real decentralization in case just you need it. We live like in really crazy times right now with essentially wars in a lot of people being displaced, and crypto is kind of is a saver, or it can be used as really a tool to save life by individuals, by themselves, if they really have their private keys and don't have it on a kind of like a national exchange, which can be shut down any moment. And so running a full node is the other part of essentially having a private key. So the transactions need to be relayed, and there are projects which also produce simple, let's say, boxes which you plug into your router to run some software like some, I think also some storage boxes, but also some, let's say, Wi-Fi sharing. And we need more open source hardware as well, not just.
Yes, it feels like you mentioned just Helium. Is it Helium? Are you talking about the Helium, long fee, or mesh networks? Because I know those guys also. They're sitting in Lisbon. I guess they're sitting in Lisbon, and I know they're biggest investors also. But yes, we need more decentralization, and we as a project, as Almas Land, are also creating that necessary, let's say, the space for all of the decentralized society all over the world to be able to live with their families and be autonomous in terms of food supply, in terms of electricity, water supply, wastewater recycling, and everything else around. So we are actually understanding the idea of, let's say, not be just slightly decentralized, but understand the idea of be completely independent, be completely prepared for all of the shit coming to our doors right now, because all of the totalitarian governments right now, just forgetting about all of the democracies, rewriting the constitutions like it's nothing, creating this strange global corporations, not without any elected officials, but still somehow trying to control all of us. And yes, we understand that. And yes, the decentralized hardware is very important. We already built Almas phone. We are currently in development of a fully decentralized phone as Almas. But right now we are launching the Almas phone. We create that unique opportunity to, let's say, to communicate with each other. Also, we're evaluating all of that ability to work online, just with the small steps, like having Nextcloud, not a Google Docs, and some small steps, but still all of that small steps, like using Jitsi, not Zoom. It's also small steps towards a bright future, and I'm truly happy that it's some guys like you already for 5 years on the market are still moving to that direction with all the powers and all of the bright ideas and geniuses behind to create the decentralized future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. You're using the same tools like we do, like also Jitsi, and also trying to have like end-to-end encryption by default. I brought so many people to crypto. Sometimes it's tricky or difficult, meaning also impossible sometimes. But I think crypto is here to stay, and the advantages are becoming more clear for more people. Hoping to see kind of like mainstream adoption rather sooner than later, before bigger kind of like collateral damage can be done to this planet. I think I mean just having like your finances on a blockchain thing, but also like your voice or your vote or like your power, like in the democracy, could be also really time stamped and verified by blockchains. And I think there are really interesting times ahead. Like every crisis has also lots of opportunities, and especially for the blockchain, the decentralized crypto, real crypto world, it's going to be very exciting. But they're going to be kind of like many traps. Many people are going to fall in traps, like with centralized exchanges, which kind of like disappear, like Quadriga, for example, in Canada. Really interesting story you can see on And
we know about those motherfuckers. Like Vex or and others of that kind. So yes, it was beautiful conversation with you. I hope we could collaborate and at least we could help you with the decentralization, hosting your full node, and that's also will great honor for us. Thank you for that, let's say, introduction to the Aeternity blockchain, and that's beautiful opportunity for our audience to understand that's the current landscape of your ecosystem, and it maybe for somebody will be the first step to, let's say, dive in that unique technical blockchain innovation space.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really interesting also for me, like to see what you guys are doing, in the sense that to really have the fully autonomous, decentralized, I could call them zones, but maybe this term is already like overlaid with others. We should really create networks of such areas and show other people how really like we can have shorter cycles of the resources, and have actually a more interesting life, a more exciting life, when we are being more smart with our environments. I hope to visit some, and
you're very welcome. You're very welcome to Alma's land. You're very welcome to Tulum, Mexico. Right now, I'm sitting here in Tulum, Mexico. We have also other, let's say, projects in San Salvador, in Scandinavia. So we have different locations on Earth, like hubs. And I hope that you one day visit some of our meetups and enjoy the life and all the beauty of the place we're creating for all of the decentralized, let's say, ambassadors of the new world as we see it. I mean, as not like crazy motherfuckers willing to destroy humanity, but as we as freedom seekers see that beautiful world. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you as well.
Thank you for the
day.
time.